Almost 2 months to go for the CAT exam, and a lot of candidates make certain mistakes during this period that can derail their CAT preparation. In fact, more than the preparation, I feel now it's also about the mindset that will determine how much percentile you end up scoring on the day of the examination. Let me tell you about my IIM Ahmedabad batchmate. He scored a 99.92 percentile in the CAT exam. I had scored a 99.91, so zero point zero 0.01 percentile more than me, and I had prepared for more than 10 months, appeared for at least 35-40 mocks. Do you know how many days did he prepare for? Literally 8 days, and he was not faking around because all of his IIT batchmates, IIT hostel mates as well confirmed this fact that he did not prepare for more than 8 days. So literally 8 days of preparation after he got free from his placement stress, just 2 mocks, that too from his friend's account who had already bought a mock test series, and he scored a 99.92 percentile. But if you're thinking that it was just 8 days of preparation, then you are getting it absolutely wrong. The reason for this was 10-15 years of intense preparation in his school life, in his college life, where he was developing his critical thinking ability, where he was already so good at maths that anything around aptitude, he would have easily been able to solve it. And that exactly what I want to explain about the CAT preparation. So you need to understand, CAT is not an exam like JEE or UPSC where most of it depends on your preparation. So CAT is more like an aptitude examination. JEE or UPSC, you cannot think about clearing the examination in 2 or 3 months. You need years of preparation for those. But for CAT, a lot of people clear it in 2 or 3 months. Yes, 8 days can be an anomaly, but 2 or 3 months, a lot of candidates do that. It's an aptitude examination, and 90-95% of the syllabus you have already completed till class 10. If you're thinking that you have not completed the syllabus and I will start attempting the mocks, I will start solving the problems only after I complete the syllabus, then that is not going to happen till the day of the examination. As I said, it's an aptitude examination. There will always be something on your radar, but remember, all the topics, 95% of the topics you have covered within class 10. If you know how to read English, you have already covered the verbal paper. And for DILR as well, if you have critical thinking ability, probably you have already completed the syllabus for DILR as well. For certain topics, maybe like Venn diagrams and stuff, you might need to revise. And obviously, practicing more problems will increase your efficiency of solving those questions. But always remember, suppose you have not covered geometry, circles, triangles, mensuration, trigonometry. These are topics that you have already appeared for. These are topics that you have already covered in your class 10 boards. Only thing is, yes, the questions will get a little more difficult. You need to be more efficient at solving the questions, and that can happen through problem solving. So do not fuss much over completing the syllabus first and then appearing for mocks. You have to start the mocks as soon as possible, and that's the first mistake a lot of candidates do. Not appearing for enough mocks, thinking that they will first complete the syllabus and then start attempting the mocks. Start attempting the mocks, you will realize your weaknesses, and you will also realize there are a lot of topics that you have not covered, but still you're able to solve those questions. Next thing is around controlling your nerves, and I really feel what helped my friend score a 99.92 percentile was he had nothing to lose, so he was not nervous at all. He had not prepared well for the CAT examination, so he was already determined to go for a job and then appear for MBA next year or onwards. And that's why he just went for the examination. He was already good in maths, he had nothing to lose, so he could control the nerves much better than a lot of well prepared candidates who had put everything for the CAT examination. And that is what you also need to do. I would not tell you to be not nervous, because obviously if you are serious about CAT examination, you will be nervous about it. But what you need to stop doing is stop overthinking weeks before the examination. A lot of candidates will start thinking weeks before the examination, what if I do not crack this examination? What will I do in future? What will my relatives think if I'm not able to score well during the CAT examination? These are things that you need to stop. Just focus on your preparation. 3 or 4 days before the examination, you will be very nervous. Obviously, that is also a period when you need to stop your preparation. Maximum 1-2 hours a day. Just need to revise whatever you have already studied and calm your mind. Obviously, it's a serious examination. You will be nervous 3 or 4 days, but I can say with guarantee that as soon as your examination starts, as soon as you sit in front of the screen, that 40 minutes of the first section will pass so quickly that you will not even realize what is happening. Those 2 hours will pass so quickly that you will not even have the time to feel nervous. And that brings me to the next thing that will definitely help you control your nerves. Treat your CAT exam as 3 papers of 40 minutes each rather than a 1-2 hour examination. And this is something that you need to to practice during the mocks, otherwise it will not happen overnight during the CAT examination. Because sometimes it might happen that your verbal paper might not go good. Suppose you have missed certain questions, and if you take that to the DILR paper, you will hardly have 4-5 seconds before the screen switches from verbal to DILR. You cannot take that baggage to the DILR paper, otherwise you will completely destroy your DILR paper as well. And if you take that to the quant paper, you will again jeopardize your quant exam as well. What you need to do is completely forget what happened in the previous paper, just focus on that particular paper, and you need to practice this during the mocks. In the quant paper, it should not happen that you're thinking about that DILR question. Oh, I could have solved that DILR question this particular way, it would have helped me solve it faster. You should not be having these kind of thoughts during the other paper. Next, as I've already mentioned, you need to focus a lot more on problem solving during the last 2 months, and from where you need to solve these problems: from the previous year mocks, from the current year mocks, and from the previous year CAT questions. Remember, if you're using any particular book, the questions in those particular book are to teach you certain concepts that might be easy but will teach you a certain concept. But what you need to do is practice CAT level questions at this particular stage. So the mock test that you're giving, that has CAT level questions. Also, the previous year CAT question, that's a great source. At least from 2016 onwards, you need to solve each and every question that has appeared in the CAT paper. And to solve these questions, I can suggest you Oswald Book's 15 mock papers. In this particular book, basically you will find 15 sample papers with CAT level questions across verbal, DILR and quant sections. And also you will find the CAT papers, CAT 2023, CAT 2022 and CAT 2021 paper across the different slots, so you can solve those CAT papers as well. That will be a very good practice. And along with this, if you want to use this book for your preparation as well, there are some start revision notes, there are mind maps that you can use for your concept revision. So you can solve these sample papers with timer or without timer, and then match your answers with the answer key. And the best thing that I like about this book is at the end of the sample papers, there are QR codes which basically you can scan, and it will take you to the elaborate answers from where you can get the explanation to these questions. So definitely I would suggest you to practice more problems like these. And along with this, if you also want to practice previous year questions, you can also buy Oswald Book's 25-year solved paper, where you will get CAT questions asked in the previous 25 years. So if you want to buy the 15 mock test papers, I'll put the link in the description as well as in the pinned comment. You can check it out from there. Also, if you buy this bundle, the 25 years paper as well as the 15 mock test papers, there's a 40% discount on this bundle. You can also check that out. Next very important thing that I need you to understand, especially all the engineers out there, is to leave your ego outside the exam center. Suppose you're solving a particular mock examination and you have invested 5-6 minutes in a particular DILR set, and you realize after that that set is difficult and you might not be able to solve it in the next 10-15 minutes as well. Then the good thing to do is to leave that particular problem. Just leave that, go to an easier problem. Just because you have invested 5-6 minutes, and probably you might be thinking that I've solved similar sets before, I should be able to solve it, I've invested 5-6 minutes, I should be giving more time to this. Do not fall into this particular trap. It's also what we call the sunk cost fallacy. Just because you have invested somewhere, you think that you should be investing more on that particular thing, otherwise the previous investment will basically go waste. But do not think about that, you will end up losing a lot more. Solve and move to more easier questions. That is why CAT examination is also as much about leaving the difficult questions as it is about solving the questions. So you need to let the art of letting go. And after this, there's another important thing that you need to understand. It is not always about solving questions using the traditional method. You also need to understand that Jugaad is a perfectly good way of solving questions, especially during the CAT examination. And Jugaad is an art. It's not something that you can develop overnight. It's an art that happens as you practice more and more problems. So I've seen a lot of candidates, they solve particular questions, say using substitution during algebra during the paper, and they solve certain questions using I estimation for geometry, or maybe they find the last digit of a number and mark the right option, or they find an approximate range and find the right option, and then they think that they need to solve it using the traditional method, and next mock they go back to the traditional method. Remember, it's just important to know the traditional method. It's not important to solve the question using that traditional method. A lot of times it will happen in algebra that the traditional method will be really long. Rather, substituting the options and finding the right option will be the easier way. And also you need to understand, this is not something that can happen on the day of the examination. You cannot think that during the mocks you will use the traditional method, and on the day of the examination you will start using the easiest method or the shortest method. This is also a skill that you need to develop during the mocks. So during the mocks as well, what you need to do is try to find the shortest method, the easiest method. Even if it happens through approximation, try to do that. After the mock, when you're analyzing it, yes, you can solve it using the traditional method and see what kind of time it would have taken. But during the mocks, try to develop this skill. Next, a lot of candidates tell me that they are consistently appearing for mocks but are not improving. That is where you need to avoid the next mistake, and that is not analyzing your mocks. Remember, if you spend 2 hours on attempting a mock, you need to spend at least 2-3 hours on analyzing it well. If you just attempt a mock and do not analyze it, it is as good as wasting your 2 hours. So analyzing the mocks is really important. Remember, there will be a lot of papers where your scores will fluctuate a lot. At least in the verbal section, your scores will keep fluctuating. Also in DILR quant paper, there will be certain exams where you will score really, really low in the mocks in the DILR quant paper as well. If you have learned the art of analyzing it well, you will soon realize that whenever you score low in a paper, you will start feeling happy about it, because then there will be more issues to address during the analysis, and you know that you will learn more during the analysis, and that will help you improve more during the analysis. So where you need to concentrate on the scores is after October. After October, you can start thinking about stabilizing your mock scores, but before that, what you need to do is only focus on improving your mistakes. So I hope this video will give you a lot of clarity how to prepare, go about in the next 2 months. And also, if you need to understand how to analyze the mocks well, suppose you do not already know it, you are not already analyzing the mocks well, I already made a detailed video on mock analysis across the 3 sections, for verbal, for DILR, quant section, how you should go about analyzing the mocks. You can refer to that particular video. I'll put that up on the screen. अगर आप interested हो, मैं आपसे वहां मिलता हूं.